Greetings, movie buffs! I have literally just got back from seeing the new Assassin's Creed movie, and just for shits and giggles, I thought, why not put actual gameplay from Assassin's Creed? Because, well, I play it. So, let's roll that while we talk about the movies. Now, obviously, guys, we are going to go through and try and keep this spoiler free, just because of the fact that I don't want to go ruining the movie for anybody. So the movie, overall, I was actually quite impressed. Now, look, obviously, game movies have got a bad review in the past. Game movies in themselves, look, we're still reeling from obviously Street Fighter and Super Mario Brothers. Oh god, don't even mention Super Mario Brothers. Mortal Kombat was okay, but there's a pretty bad stigma around game movies. Now, I have seen some of the other reviews for this movie, because it did obviously come out in the US about a week or so before, and a lot of people are dogging it. So let's just deal with that first. First of all, guys, I actually quite enjoyed this movie. If you are a fan of the game, you will appreciate the fact that this is actually like a game. You do have scenes where you go through and you're in the Amunis and you're in Abstergo. And then the next scene you will be running through 15th century Spain and basically assassinating people. Yes, there is that mixture, but that's what the games are about. The games actually do have these cutscenes. And some of the biggest criticisms I've seen is, why do you need the Abstergo parts? I'm sorry, but that's kind of half the story. Half the story is these bad guys, Abstergo, or air quote bad guys, trying to get this apple. That's the point. The sequences that you see with the main doctor and her father, who's played by Jeremy Irons, they're important. If you don't understand that, why are you writing movie reviews? Have any of you played the actual games? But anyway, but guys, yeah, there is that mixture where you will have 15th century Spain, and then you have the Abstergo building and situation. There is that mixture, but that's what we come to expect from the game. That's what we come to expect from the movie. It is the same. It's the same franchise. And people are complaining about the sequences where you actually get to see him fighting and he's miming against fighting in this Amunis. Well, yeah, of course they're going to show that. They want to show that because at the end of the day, that's the point. The point is that he's in this virtual reality world. He's not actually in 15th century Spain, technically. He's just reliving the memories. He doesn't actually have a sword that he is actually fighting someone with. It is mimed out because he's in Abstergo. He's in the Amunis. But anyway, I digress. But apart from that, guys, obviously itself, look, the movie is really, really good. I was worried about going into it because we have had such bad movies, except for obviously World of Warcraft was half decent. But yeah, I was worried going into it, especially considering the fact that I was pretty hyped for it. So my opinion of the movie had to be fairly high. I went in, I saw it, I had a great time. People that I was around, that surround me, I asked them what their opinions of. They all loved it. They all had a great time. Now, obviously, most of those were gamers, granted. But one of the girls that was sitting there, she hadn't actually played the game, but she did know about the storyline. And she said she enjoyed it herself. So a lot of people that weren't seeing it did actually enjoy themselves, or the people I spoke to actually did enjoy themselves. So what is it? What do you expect? Well, guys, to be honest, this main character is anything like you've seen in the game. So if you're going to this movie expecting to see Ezio turn up or anything along those lines, I'm sorry, you're going to be disappointed. The main story is that Carl Lynch travels back into the 15th century Spain through a revolutionary technology that unlocks the genetic memories contained in his DNA. There, he lives out the experiences of Atia Nadra, I might be mispronouncing that, a distant relative who's also a member of the Assassins, a secret society that fights to protect free will from the power-hungry Templars order. Transformed by the past, Carl begins to gain the knowledge and physical skills necessary to battle the oppressive organization in the present. And that's the important thing, guys. in this movie you actually do get to see the bleed through effect. There are several situations where they go through where you obviously learn, and they say that they're actually making him stronger and they're worried about that. And there's also another scene where you actually see him fighting against the bleed through effect. It sees his ancestor. You actually see the ancestor attacking him when he's in his room, and he actually Carl fights against his ancestor. Now the main reason why they showed that scene was obviously to show the fact that he is actually learning. He is actually picking up these skills from his ancestor, technically. That was pretty cool as well. And there are a lot of scenes where you actually see his ancestor in like the reflections. There's a lot of times where you see that, especially earlier in the movie. And I'm kind of glad they put that, because that is a big thing in the game. That whole bleed through effect is a central point of the Amunis. Now, another complaint point that people have had is that you actually get him dragged out of the Amunis. Well, I'm sorry, but you obviously don't know much about the game, because that desynchronization is important. It is what happens in the game. Now, not just that, guys, but there are a lot of things that pop up in the game that have also popped up in the movie as well. For example, you get to see obviously all the old weapons. You get to see smoke grenades that were obviously in Unity. You also get to see a bear claw. Now, I believe that was actually in the previous game. I believe that was actually in Black Flag, where you actually get to see him. They have this primitive assassin's bear claw thing. You actually get to see that in the movie as well. Obviously, you get to see all the shields, the swords, and everything like that. Obviously, that's all there. Also, obviously, Abstergo. Obviously, the Amunis is a little bit different. I'll get to that in a sec. You also get to see, obviously, the Templars. Obviously, at the end, they obviously. So it's all very much like, hey, here's a game. Hey, here's a movie based on the game, which is a big win in my situation. I love that. Now, there are even subtle little things that you might even notice, especially if you're a gamer or you've played the Assassin's Creed series. For example, there is a scene where he first goes in the Amunis. The first time they're dragging him in. If you pay close attention to detail, you will notice the sequence of his genetic memory is actually on the monitor. Now, if anybody has actually played Assassin's Creed, you know that this genetic sequence does appear in the game from time to time, and they have actually put it in the actual movie itself as well. So there are a lot of callbacks to the original game that a lot of the gamers will actually get. For example, there is scenes where he's running past around the city in 15th century Spain, and you actually see him fall into a haystack. Yes, anybody who's played the games know that haystacks are important. So there are a lot of that. The parkour in it is absolutely amazing. It looked absolutely fabulous, and it looks even better than it does in the game. And there are, like I said, there are a lot of callbacks to the game that a lot of the gamers will get. For example, smoke grenades and everything along those lines. It is very, very much, this is the game, this is the movie, and we're going to put it all in and put a decent job. So, like I say, I was really, really glad that they've gone through and put that attention to detail in the movie, because this is what makes the game. This is a game. This is what we want. And I'm glad they did that. Now, obviously, it's not just the subtle things in it either. If you have played the game, you will notice there is a thing in the game called a leap of faith. And there are scenes where he climbs building and then does jump off them. That's all in the movie as well. If you've probably seen the trailer, you'll know what I'm saying. So there are a couple of times where he does actually the leap of faith, and that has actually been incorporated in the movie as well. So like I say, if you are a gamer, there will be things that you will pick up on that will allow you to go through and you'll be like, oh yeah, cool, I remember that from the game. Now, obviously, guys, like I say, with the Amunis, it is a little bit different compared to what we normally see in the game. For example, in the game, the Amunis is a bed that you lay in, where in the movie, it is basically a great big mechanic claw. I'll put a screenshot here. A great big mechanic claw that grabs you and lifts you up. I was a little bit worried about that when I first saw it, because I thought, okay, it's a little bit different. But actually seeing the movie, I'm glad they actually put that in there. The main reason is because as you are going through and you are doing things in the Amunis, it will actually translate it into the claw for you. For example, if you are climbing a 3-story building, you will actually be able to mimic climbing, obviously, but the claw will lift you up as you climb the building. If you fall, the claw will drop you, or well, not drop you, but pull you down, sort of thing. If you do a leap of faith, it actually puts you and actually goes to plant you, or goes to sort of head you towards the ground. So you actually get that sensory feeling that the assassin would actually have from doing these actions. So that is really, really cool as well. So I'm kind of, that won me over. I was a little bit worried about it, but no, that's fine. I actually enjoyed that. Guys, obviously as itself, the movie itself, the basic plot line is the same as the game, obviously, in the fact that obviously there's the Templars, there's Abstergo, there's the Assassins, so obviously trying to protect free will, and obviously the Templars are trying to get an apple that will actually allow them to go through and to control everybody. The movie itself, guys, I actually had a really good time with it. I actually enjoyed the movie. I really, really did. A couple of my mates couldn't visit or couldn't come tonight to go to the movies. I am going to turn around and say to them, hey, look, guys, if you guys want to go and see it Thursday, I will go and re-see it. So I actually definitely had a good time, and I'd like to go and see it with my mates as well. Apart from that, guys, obviously CGI is freaking amazing as always. Graphics were amazing. Sounds were great. The only problem I had with the sound was there were a few sequences where the audio was very loud, and it sort of overpowered everything. But that was mainly the end credits and stuff like that, so no real big thing there. But no, everything else, I found all the actors did an amazing job. Jeremy Irons did an amazing job. Obviously, Michael Fassbender was amazing. Even Millian Coad, I might be mispronouncing that, I thought she did a really good job as well. Everybody did a really, really good job. So yeah, it's the look. I can't say anything bad about it. I really can't. I found that the 15th century scenes were unreal. I've even found the main sequence with the Abstergo and all that, it wasn't boring. So that was definitely cool. The only thing was the first 10 or 20 minutes was setting up his whole childhood and everything like that. I think it's the first 10 minutes. That was, if I had to complain about anything, I would say maybe cut that down a little bit. But to be honest, it's kind of important, so you just got to sort of remember that. But guys, apart from that, look, have you seen Assassin's Creed? What are your thoughts and opinions? Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, guys, please slap a like on it. If you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, and do hit that bell, because obviously then you'll always get these popping up on your newsfeed. Also, you'll also let you know when obviously new videos come out. I am going to try and focus on the channels more over this next year. So I am going to try and spread myself evenly amongst the 2 or 3 channels. So obviously I'll be hoping to make a lot more videos. But guys, look, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Apart from that, enjoy yourselves, guys. Enjoy the movie, and I hope you'll see you at the cinemas watching Assassin's Creed again. Enjoy.